Big Blue, stop right now. MetLife Stadium just exploded with breaking news, and one single number is sending shockwaves through the entire NFC East. 0 catches in 2 full years. A legendary icon is officially back in New York. A defensive prodigy is being hit with impossible expectations, and an Achilles injury just emptied the trenches right before training camp fires up. Insiders warned us this summer would be pure chaos, and here is your first payoff. That iconic wide receiver returning to MetLife? He is competing against 13 other receivers for a single roster spot, and his new head coach isn't handing him anything. If you bleed blue, white, and red and want to crush the Cowboys this season, hit like and subscribe right now. We start with the mind-blowing return of a Giants legend that has all of New York speechless. Stay locked, because the double cliffhanger at the end will change how you view this entire roster. Whispers turned into footsteps, and the locker room in East Rutherford just went completely silent. The name? Odell Beckham Jr. The legendary playmaker, originally drafted 12th overall by the Giants back in 2014, is officially back in Big Blue, but the road ahead is anything but a victory lap. Odell hasn't caught a pass in 2 full years, and his last touchdown dates back to Week 14 of the 2023 season. Yet, as first-year head coach John Harbaugh takes the reins, Beckham is being considered a genuine favorite to make the final 53-man roster. The competition, however, is an absolute bloodbath. New York currently has 14 receivers in camp and will likely keep no more than 7. Beckham was brought in alongside Juju Smith-Schuster and Braxton Berrios to inject veteran grit into a group featuring Malik Neighbors, Darius Slayton, Malachi Fields, Calvin Austin, and Darnell Mooney. ESPN insider Jordan Raanan confirmed that Beckham will have to earn every single inch, noting he managed just 9 catches for 55 yards over the last 2 combined seasons, so why bring him back? Beyond his remaining athleticism, the front office views Odell as the ultimate mentor for Malik Neighbors. Neighbors just put up the greatest rookie season by a receiver in franchise history, eclipsing Beckham's iconic 2014 rookie run of 91 catches and 1,300 yards. Beckham experienced the same MetLife Stadium nightmare, suffering a season-ending injury against the Chargers in 2017, just like Neighbors experienced early frustration. Beckham told reporters he plans to be a massive asset for the young superstar and 3rd-round pick Malachi Fields. To fully understand why John Harbaugh and Joe Schoen made this move, you have to look at the psychological landscape of this offense. Malik Neighbors is an elite game-changing talent, but he has shown visible frustration when the offense stalls or when losing streak pressures mount. Having someone in the building who has lived through the highest peaks of New York stardom and the lowest valleys of media scrutiny is invaluable. Odell understands the exact pressure that comes with being the focal point of the Giants' offense at MetLife Stadium. In practice reps, Beckham is already taking young receivers like Malachi Fields aside, breaking down release techniques off the line of scrimmage, and explaining how to beat press coverage against physical division rivals. The front office doesn't need Odell to play 70 snaps a game. They need him to execute on 3rd and medium, convert critical red zone opportunities, and keep Neighbors grounded when opposing defenses start rolling double coverage his way. Meanwhile, battle-tested veterans like Juju Smith-Schuster and Braxton Berrios are not going to hand over those final roster spots easily. Journeymen like Ryan Miller, Isaiah Hodgins, and Jalen Hyatt are fighting for their NFL survival in every single drill. This creates an ultra-competitive environment where every route run in July carries massive consequences for August cuts. If Beckham can stay healthy and prove he still has that explosive initial burst, his veteran savvy makes him a lethal weapon in Harbaugh's new system. Do you think Odell Beckham Jr. makes the final cut, or is this just summer nostalgia? Let me know in the comments below. Smash that like button if you want to see OBJ wearing Big Blue again. But while the offense builds veteran leadership, the defense is facing an entirely different kind of pressure. A second-year pass rusher is being set up for an impossible expectation, and the numbers being thrown around are absolute insanity. A move 2 years in the making, and the front office believes they have built an absolute monster on the defensive line. Sources close to the team say the expectations inside the facility are skyrocketing, but an outside prediction might have just crossed the line into total delusion. The identity everyone's asking about? Abdul Carter. And the front 7 already knows he is built different. SB Nation insider Jarrett Bailey predicted that Carter will rack up 14.5 sacks in 2026. Let that sink in. Expecting nearly 15 sacks from a player entering just his 2nd NFL season is a mountain-sized task. Carter showed flashes of terrifying potential during his rookie campaign, including dominant moments against Las Vegas and Dallas. But reaching 14.5 sacks isn't just about personal talent. The biggest reason Carter might fall short of that specific number isn't a lack of skill, but rather the sheer amount of elite talent surrounding him on the field. This Giants pass rush is a pack of hungry wolves. Brian Burns was an absolute force, exploding for 16.5 sacks last season, and defenses will be forced to slide protection his way every single snap. Then you have Kayvon Thibodeau, who is playing with his back against the wall on his fifth-year option, fighting for his financial future and pride. On top of that, rookie linebacker Arvell Reese and veteran Tremaine Edmonds will be dialing up chaos on inside blitzes. When you break down the film on how opposing offensive coordinators will scheme against the Giants, it becomes obvious why 14.5 sacks is a trap metric for Carter. With Brian Burns coming off a 16.5 sack season, tackles are going to chip Burns with tight ends and keep running backs in protection on his side. That naturally creates one-on-one matchups for Abdul Carter on the opposite edge. However, Kayvon Thibodeau is also fighting for every snap in a contract year, meaning edge rotations will be fast and frequent to keep everyone fresh. Defensive coordinator schemes will likely stunt Carter inside, using his explosive acceleration to flush quarterbacks directly into the arms of Burns or Reese. Carter might generate 40 or 50 quarterback pressures this season, but many of those plays will result in sacks for his teammates because the entire front seven moves as a cohesive unit. In modern football, sack totals can be deceiving. Game-ending pressures, forced throwaways, and rushed decisions inside the pocket are what truly disrupt offenses. Expecting a 22-year-old player in his second year to post elite sack numbers while sharing reps with two established star pass rushers ignores how defense is played at the professional level. The Giants have assembled a front seven made entirely of savages and absolute hustlers. Carter will undoubtedly break out and disrupt game plans, but expecting him to siphon 14.5 sacks away from Burns and Thibodeau is asking for a statistical miracle. Is 14.5 sacks realistic for Abdul Carter, or is the media setting him up to fail? Drop your sack prediction in the comments. If you believe this front seven will lead the NFL in sacks, hit that like button right now and show the Eagles who owns the trenches. But just as this pass rush prepares to dominate, a devastating injury update just ripped through the interior defense, leaving the Giants scrambling for answers before the first whistle blows. Scouts called it calculated violence, and the front office signed the check back in free agency to fortify the interior defense. The question wasn't if he would contribute, but when he could actually return to the field. The name? Roy Robertson Harris. The veteran defensive lineman was officially placed on the active PUP list after suffering a brutal torn Achilles during practice back in May. The Giants also placed tight end Thomas Fidone and defensive lineman Sam Roberts on the PUP list as training camp opens, though they can activate them at any point before final cuts. The loss of Robertson Harris, however, cuts deep into the team's defensive depth. The 32-year-old veteran is a proven warrior in the NFL trenches. After starting his career with the Chicago Bears in 2016, he earned a multi-million-dollar deal with the Jacksonville Jaguars, who later extended him for $30 million before trading him to Seattle. The Giants scooped him up on a 2-year, $9 million contract to provide veteran muscle. Last season, Robertson Harris was a reliable Ironman, appearing in all 17 games while recording 35 tackles and 3 tackles for loss. Losing a 300-pound veteran who played all 17 games last season creates an immediate, dangerous void in the middle of the defense. An Achilles tear for a player of his size and age is one of the hardest injuries to recover from, as it directly impacts the explosive lower body power required to hold ground against double teams. Robertson Harris wasn't just a body on the roster, he was brought in to absorb interior blocks, so edge rushers like Brian Burns and Abdul Carter could operate freely on the outside. Without his presence holding down the B-gap, opposing offenses will look to establish the run game straight down the middle, testing New York's interior tackle rotation early and often. The coaching staff now has to thrust younger, unproven defensive linemen into heavy snaps during training camp. Players like Sam Roberts, once he clears his own PUP hurdle, and newly signed depth pieces will have to step up immediately. If the Giants cannot anchor the line against power-running teams in the NFC East, those elite edge rushers won't get the chance to pin their ears back on third and long situations. The front office is watching the waiver wire closely, because an unstable interior run defense can ruin an entire defensive scheme before the regular season even starts. While the front office hopes he can make a late summer recovery, his absence places immense strain on the interior rotation behind the starting defensive line. The coaching staff will now be forced to accelerate the development of younger reserves to hold the line against heavy run offenses in the division. Can Big Blue's defense survive without Robertson Harris plugging the middle? Or does Joe Schoen need to sign another free agent immediately? Tell me your thoughts below. If you trust John Harbaugh to fix this defense, smash subscribe right now. 3 stories, 1 clear signal. The New York Giants are entering a ruthless new era under John Harbaugh. The return of Odell Beckham Jr. isn't a publicity stunt. It's a calculated move to forge Malik Neighbors into an unstoppable alpha receiver while injecting veteran competition into a cutthroat wide receiver room. On defense, Abdul Carter represents the future of a terrifying front seven, a pass-rushing unit so stacked with Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau that individual stats don't even matter as long as opposing quarterbacks are hitting the turf. And while the loss of Roy Robertson Harris to an Achilles injury tests the team's interior depth, it opens the door for young, hungry talent to step up and prove their worth. Big Blue is done waiting around. The NFC East is wide open, and New York is building a roster rooted in toughness, leadership, and explosive talent. If this front seven plays to its potential, and Neighbors takes the leap to superstardom with OBJ in his ear, the Giants won't just compete, they will shock the entire league. Here is what I need from Big Blue Nation right now. 1. Smash that like button if you believe John Harbaugh is leading this team back to the playoffs. 2. Comment below with your exact prediction for how many wins the Giants get this season. 3. Subscribe to the channel right now because every new subscriber makes Eagles and Cowboys fans lose their minds and we are taking over the division. But hold on, because the drama in East Rutherford is far from over. Insiders report that a surprise trade proposal involving a high-round draft pick for an interior defensive lineman is sitting on the desk right now, and the front office has less than 48 hours to make a decision that could alter the defense. On top of that, a rival NFC East team just cleared massive cap space to target a key offensive playmaker the Giants were eyeing in free agency. Which side strikes first, Big Blue or the division rivals? The next headline drops soon. Hit subscribe, stay locked, and let's make the NFC East bleed blue. See you in the next war.